Japan is so cooked. They're so cooked when it comes to AI, and if they're going to do anything about this, they're going to have to do something quick because the cat's out of the bag. But yes, I was scrolling through my social media feed, and I ran into two situations like right after another where people are pointing out some sort of work that is generated in some way by AI, winning some sort of award or topping some chart. And I'm like, this can't be coincidence. Like out of nowhere, we have two different platforms are literally lifting up AI generated stuff as being number one. And it boggles my mind. And at the same time, I'm like, it kind of makes sense. Because yes, in Japan, like so much manga, so much novels, whether it being web-based or actually, physically publicated, there's so much work being turned around in Japan that stuff is going to slip through the cracks. And I guess we're finally seeing it right now. One of the cases being, yes, a very popular website known as Alphapolis. Now, for those who know who Alphapolis is, it's a web, publishing company, and they also do their own physical publications as well. The big titles being like Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy, May I Ask for One Last Thing? That's their properties. So this is a very well-known platform. Yes, they gave a grand prize award to something that seemingly does have some AI generation in it. Now, I don't know if they've actually specified how much AI is used, where they're actually utilizing it at, but yes, they won this grand prize. Now, it does even note in the actual post, this is actually the page for this isekai property that won this grand prize, that even though they did win this grand prize, part of that prize is to have a publication, like a physical publication of it, an adaptation of it, that was nullified. And it seems like it's around the fact that, yes, they discovered that it was partially AI generated, or there was AI used for this. Looking at Yahoo Japan, they actually reported on this. They said Alphapolis, which operates a novel and manga submission website, has revealed that it has decided to completely withdraw plans for publication and manga adaptation of a work that won an award in the company's 18th fantasy novel grand prize, after it discovered post-award that the work had been generated using AI. Oof. Again, it doesn't say exactly how much, and I'm kind of wondering just how much of that is. According to the status update posted by the author on the submission site on the 3rd, the work won both the Grand Prize and Reader's Choice Award, and plans for book publication and manga adaptations were already underway. However, it was later discovered that the large portion of the work had been created using generative AI tools, and as a result, the decision was made to cancel its commercialization. In the explanation, the author cited a retroactive change to the rules as the reason, which is believed to be based on the new regulations announced by the company on November 18th. So I'm guessing he won it before then, because that's not retroactively. They noted that on November 18th, Alphapolis announced a ban on AI-generated works in all of its contests. The company defined prohibited works as those created using generative AI tools, primarily for the purpose of generating text in a majority of the work. I'm kind of curious exactly how they ended up finding out that it was AI generative. I'm guessing they possibly used some sort of AI generative sniffing tool. You can put in text into different programs, and it will essentially check like how it's formatted and everything to check to see which, specific generative tool may have been possibly used. They potentially could have used that, or they potentially could have asked them specifically. I'm guessing they probably used some sort of tool to test it. The author said, "I do not consider this event to be something I have lost. Rather, I see it as an opportunity to become freer and more new. I want to face it sincerely and positively." They also expressed a desire to leave behind works that are not words born at the push of a button, but rather creations formed through dialogue and struggle with AI. Works that could be said to be something that could be only made by me and AI together. So basically, you're struggling with making the AI turn out something interesting, and eventually it turns out something good, and so the struggle is something of an achievement. That sounds like a prompt user. Sounds like a prompt user. I've struggled over this prompt. Don't steal this prompt. But still, very, very crazy that the humble skill tidying up is the strongest. Apparently, temporarily won this grand prize, and I'm guessing completely, tricked everybody. It is crazy because technically the picture that they have here, it looks obviously AI. it looks obviously AI. This looks like something this actually looks like a lot of those like AI generated stuff that was popping up with all the, Ghibli stuff for a while there on social media, but still crazy. And like I said before, this is in wake of another controversial thing that popped up on my feed, which is, yes, wife, will you be my lover? This manga apparently is also topping charts. As you can see here, young adult manga first place. This thing is topping the charts on this website for adult manga. And yes, apparently it's a story about a guy who has been married for a long time with his wife, and he doesn't get it. And he's got tons of kids, but he don't get it no more. And so he's trying to figure out ways of getting it. I like the fact that we have like people making AI generated stories about a wife and the fact that they won't have the sex with them. Like, this is the appealing thing for young adults, is having a wife that won't give it to you. But no, this does actually specifically say on the page here, you can see this work is created using AI generated images. And again, it's topping the charts on this website itself. Now, it is interesting because despite the fact that it is, topping the charts, I'm guessing that's mostly around the idea that it sells the most, because the actual manga itself is not rated high. This is a 3.0, 102 posts that were saying this, and pretty much most of the negative ones, even the positive ones, they're saying that they fully acknowledge the fact that it's AI. But their criticisms are mostly around the idea that the concept itself is just kind of fragmented, which I guess technically makes sense. Typically, whenever I see a lot of very kind of cheaply done, not very well thought out AI generated content, it's typically like snippets. It's like, disjointed segments of content that don't like interweave with each other. They're just generated segments that they then later on splice together, but it as a whole cohesive story doesn't come together well. And that seemingly is a lot of people's complaints, is that this doesn't feel cohesive. It's just like little snippets, and yes, in a lot of cases, it's going to be a lot of copy and paste concepts here. It's taking all these tropes, it's reusing them over and over again. It's not doing anything new. And that's really, again, been sort of the complaint that a lot of people have with AI-generated stuff. I have that complaint with it. It's never going to create its own idea. It's always going to basically take concepts that are very popular and it sees a lot of, and it's just going to recreate that, depending on what kind of model you're using, if you're using a language model or something like that. Either way, it's odd that a lot of the complaints aren't really around, like, the fact that it is AI. It's just the fact that its failures as an AI. Now, again, this isn't technically an award, unlike the one with Alphapolis. This is a case where, again, I'm assuming it's just a lot of people are buying this. So really the only harm that comes from this whole situation is that people are buying it, and people are complaining that they're spending money on something that's AI generated and they wish that it costs less. So they're technically accepting it. That's the odd thing there. Like, again, with Alphapolis, this seems like this is a case where they didn't notice it. They didn't notice it, and it got popular. People were liking it, unfortunately. And in the end, it won this award. It was about to get publicated before they finally caught it. With this situation, with the wife, Will You Be My Lover, it's a case where a lot of people are buying it despite the fact that maybe it's too hidden for a lot of people, despite the fact that it legit just says on here that you're buying AI-generated images. You're buying something that somebody created using AI. People are still buying it and supporting it despite that. That's the crazy thing. People are giving their money to it. But either way, like I said before, this is it's a crazy time to be a fan in Japan of creative works, because you never know anymore. It's going to get harder and harder to notice. That's, I think, the unfortunate thing, is that as this stuff gets better, it's going to be much more difficult for people to actually notice if something is, generative or not. Either way, I think this is sort of a sign of, again, I think Japan needs to kind of, if they're going to do anything, if they want to do anything, they're going to have to do it quickly. I do have to note that it's funny, even though I don't know how much of this is actually AI, the concept that this story apparently is generating is the idea of a girl getting isekai to another world where her ability is to tidy up things. And it's geared towards females because it's got a female lead with two hot guys. But the generated story is a girl with the ability to tidy up things. But anyways, just want to get on here and throw these two, depending on who you are. I've always had mixed reactions from people when it comes to AI. Some people just hate it. They don't want any of it. Some people just like, whatever, I'll take this if it's better than the crap that I'm already getting. I mean, you can make an argument with this isekai one. There's so much isekai slop out there, especially like web novel based. Like, of course you can't tell it's AI or not, because a lot of these people are just copy pasting isekai concepts anyways, so what does it matter? But depending on who you ask, people get either upset or support it, and it's crazy either way. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content, you want to support the channel more, become a member. Until next time, you'll take care.